Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on this first Saturday. We're in October as we roll towards show number 500 since we've been on the air in August of 2001.
I'm blowing up balloons.
Isn't it that? Is blowing up balloons. This is show number 496, 4 more shows, and we've got some great plans for show number 500. Thinking about a grand prize, a lot of prizes, maybe get some of our former guests on with us to help us celebrate that, whether it's Kim Rhodey, the Olympians, Vincent Hancock. I don't know who we might have, but I know we will have Dave Gabbert and Gene Smith with us. And, guys, I know that organizations are great that help the needy. And I ran across recently, thanks to a press release, that there is an organization called Farmers and Hunters Feeding the Hungry, and that is a pretty good organization out of Hagerstown, Maryland. And we've got Josh Wilson. He is the executive director for the Farmers and Hunters Feeding the Hungry. On us with Outdoors with Larry Ray. Good morning, Josh.
Hey, good morning, Larry. Thanks for having me.
Well, let's talk about this. I know we're in a hotbed for deer hunting. You don't have to go very far. We're also in a hotbed for COVID. Our area, particularly in West Tennessee, there are 11 counties in the COVID, whatever you would call it, areas with a lot of restrictions and all sorts of things. But talk a little bit about your organization, because I find it very interesting, and Dave and Gene will also verify this, that you brought not only the hunters but the farmers into this. So talk about the organization itself.
Yeah, sure, be happy to. Our organization started back in the late 90s when my dad was traveling along a road in Virginia where he was headed to the farm where we did a lot of hunting while I was growing up there in high school and college age. And he encountered a lady along the side who had her trunk up, and she kind of flagged him down. It was in the morning, kind of like this morning here, and he stopped to see if he could help, see what was going on. And when he did, he found that she was looking for somebody to help her load up a small buck that she had found along the side of that road. Of course, he said, "Well, we should get this tag." This was back when you had to get even a roadkill deer tag with a wildlife officer in most places. So he mentioned that, and she said she wasn't too concerned about that. She just wanted to get the meat home so they could cut it up and have it ready to feed her kids. And so he realized he was talking too much and not helping enough, and so he helped her load it up, and she drove off. And when she did, he was kind of left wondering, what was that experience? And so he talked to the Lord about it and said, what are we supposed to do? Lord, you said when we encounter someone in need, we help them, we've helped you.
Yes.
And so what do we do about this? And anyway, long story short, on that side, he ended up, again, this was in the state of Virginia, and the farm where he was headed, where we were doing hunting, he shared the story with the folks there, and they said, well, we just got some information about a program. It's called Hunters for the Hungry here in Virginia. Maybe what we're supposed to do is get involved and donate deer.
Yeah.
And so we did that and started doing that. I can remember taking deer to the butcher there, and wasn't very long when Dad talked to our pastor back in Maryland and said, we need to do this same kind of thing at home in Maryland. And so he called up the Virginia director and got some pointers from him and some insight into how to organize it. He tried to give credit to that gentleman, and he said, oh, no, I read about a program down in Texas where they do the same thing.
Yes,
so,
yeah.
It's been around, and so it's just a way to help hunters, and in our case, even farmers and landowners, donate from their excess, whether it's an extra deer or some livestock, get that meat processed at the local butcher shop, distributed to that local food bank, and onto the plate of a man, woman, or child, or a family in need in that community.
Well, again, we're talking to Josh Wilson. He is the executive director for the Farmers and Hunters Feeding the Hungry on Outdoors with Larry Ray. And I saw on there, Josh, in the press release that you folks have distributed nearly 21 million servings nutritious meat to local food banks and ministries. That's pretty positive right there. I mean,
yes, it is. It's hard to believe, but I guess 23 years later, it adds up year by year, and I would also point out that again, we're one of a number of organizations that do this kind of work. Now we happen to have a presence in a number of different states, and we do it as a faith-based Christian mission, but there are many other state-level organizations that do similar work. And when you put all those totals together, it's an astounding figure.
Well, I know, and we're in times, pretty difficult times during right now, and we're dealing with COVID-19 and other things. And I know, I had a deer processor a couple of years ago, a longtime friend, that he just shut down, and now Outdoors with Larry Ray uses Dave Payne's deer processing out of Mason, Tennessee. That's where we go now, because Dave handles not only cattle, but he also handles a lot of deer last year. Last year, and you were talking about that in the press release. This talk about the effect of COVID-19 on butchers.
Sure. Well, it's the effect of COVID-19, I would say, is twofold. Number one, it has increased the need for protein and food items at food banks and ministries across the country, as more people have found themselves either out of work or facing reduced hours. Of course, some of that, we hope and pray is subsiding as businesses are able to open up again and get back to work. But there will be lingering effects of that as we go through the fall and the winter, people needing some help to make ends meet. But then on the flip side, when we talk about the butchers, back in the spring, I guess I started having people that would ask if this was going to impact the ability of people to get their own deer processed, the ability to donate deer through programs like ours. And I really didn't have an answer early on, but then as we got into the summer, because of course back in the spring we all thought this was going to last 2 or 3 weeks and things would kind of get back to normal, but that hasn't happened. So as we got into the summer, that's when I started hearing from people, just a few, saying, the large processor that we use also does a lot of livestock. And in some cases, these are the places that slaughtered and pack, and so they're the ones that are basically booked up with their livestock processing due to some of the meat shortages that we've had from the really big packing plants across the country. So they're booked up in some cases into next spring.
Yeah, they can't even get to their deer. They can't get to their deer because they've got these other things. And
exactly. Yep. So I think what we'll see probably is some of those larger places like your USDA butchers that also do deer in the fall normally may not do them this year. But I think when you get down to the local level and you've got some of your custom butchers where deer and deer processing is a big part of their annual business, I think they'll probably still be trying to balance that out and include the deer as well. And then, of course, you get down to your game processor level where they don't really deal with livestock anyway. It shouldn't be as much of an issue. But we figured as a service to people, we should at least help get it on the radar so someone's not surprised when they get to the butcher and find that they can't get the deer processed.
Well, again, we're talking to Josh Wilson, who is executive director. Dave Gabbert, you live in the country.
And
you
I like his organization with including the farmers in there because usually the hunters for the hungry just primarily look at the deer, but because there's a lot of farmers with livestock that would donate. It's like donating to charity. Well, I don't have really any money to give you, but you use the cow. I have plenty of that, but one of the things that I would like to ask Josh, with the processors, getting down to just the game processors. I know down here in the spring in West Tennessee, we issue quite a few depredation permits. The farmers that's getting crop damage to their fields and stuff. And most of the time, they shoot the animals, and if they know somebody they can give them to, they will. But most of the time, they just drag them off into the woods.
And that's a shame.
And that's one of the issues, because most of our deer processors in the spring, late after deer season,
they're closed.
Spring and stuff, they just shut down.
Yeah. Unless they deal with cattle. Unless they deal with cattle on the side or whatever it might be. And I know and Josh, that's why your organization is so, the positive side, as Dave said there, is to get these animals, don't let them go to waste, because they can feed some folks, can't they, Josh?
Oh, absolutely. Yep, absolutely. And we do, when we can, we do try to utilize deer from crop damage or depredation permits.
Yes.
It can be challenging. Of course, our organization and many of the others also try to raise the funds to pay the bill so that the hunter or the farmer doesn't have to pay for that. So there's that side of it that can be challenging to be able to handle everything that would be available. And then, of course, when you get out of season, outside of regular hunting season, some of those businesses don't deal with the deer quite as much. The game processors might be on to some other line of work for the spring and summer.
They
other
go
butchers
fishing. They go fishing.
Yeah, that's
that's
right.
What,
or here in Maryland, they're picking crabs.
That's right. Yeah. Well, tell us before we let you go, Josh, how to our folks here, how to get more information about your organization. Where do they go to?
Sure, we have everything right on our website. It's FHFH, so just the four letters of Farmers, Hunters, Feeding the Hungry, FHFH.org. And we have all the information about our chapters, the butchers that participate. When you're searching for butchers, if you happen to be in a state that we don't have anything going on, we also list as many of the other programs we're aware of as we can with links to their sites.
Well, folks, we'd like for you, if you would like to be included in this list, you can email me at lroutdoors@att.net. We'd be glad to post your facility on the website. And, of course, as I said, my go-to place is Dave's Deer Processing out of Mason, Tennessee. And I know that Dave Payne and them do a great job. Josh, thank you for being with us on Outdoors.
Larry.
What?
Our church gives away deer meat at our mission center. We get it from the food bank.
Well, and we could do this whole thing because, Josh, this is a ministry for them folks. You'll find out when you go to FHFH, you will find out that these folks have a mission. And that's me being a man of faith. That's another reason I wanted Josh on with us this morning. But anyway, God bless you, Josh, for what you guys are doing, and hope everything goes right, and thanks for being with us on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Okay, man?
Yep, appreciate it. You all take care, and God bless you as well.
Thank you. All right, let's take a break. Come right back. We're going to the Grand Canyon. We're going to try. We'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.